Today's burning question at the end of Gun Week down in Springfield: did the Illinois General Assembly go too far on guns or not far enough? Here now, both sides of the debate on our panel: 8th District Representative Raja Krishnamoorthi, a freshman from Schaumburg who grew up in Peoria, and a Republican former state representative from Mundelein, Ed Sullivan, now representing the Illinois State Rifle Association, an affiliate of the NRA. And Ed, why do you think what the Democratic majorities, with some Republican votes, why do you think they went too far in Springfield?
Well, the problem what we saw that happened this last week, and a myriad of different ideas that some have merit, some don't.
The one that's on the governor's desk is licensing gun dealers.
Sure.
A lot of people, I'm sure, Raja, you're going to tell us in a moment why it's a good idea. Why do you think it's a bad idea?
Well, it's a bad idea for many reasons. The first one, it's unconstitutional. We went to court based on FOID data. Under this bill, the department must keep a list of people that have licenses, and they have to make it available to the public. That is illegal. That has been fought in the courts and the Illinois State Organization.
Let's set aside the Constitution. Why is that a bad idea?
Why do you not want to release FOID data? You don't want to release FOID data because that would give criminals an idea. Here's an address. They have a FOID card. Probably have a gun. So why don't we go break that house and steal their guns? And so you're in essence hurting the concept of keeping guns. But to license gun dealers seems, Raja, you think it's a good idea?
I think it's a good idea. I mean, my barber needs a license, an auto dealer needs a license.
Why not gun?
The problem is this is more than a licensing scheme. This is a drive the businesses out of business scheme. The regulatory environment that this bill has is you can have unlimited amount of calls or complaints against a dealer. They don't have to say who they are. When the dealer has information that says, hey, I'm in compliance, they can't even go to their court hearing and give that compliance. The Illinois Procedures Act, on any other license, allows you to say, I'm in compliance, end of case. This bill specifically excludes that part of the Illinois Procedures Act. And so, if it's about licensing and not about harassment, why would you take that out of the act?
Raja?
You know, I think that the overall concept is sound. I hope that it passes. I think it's about time.
It's on Governor Rauner's desk.
Yes.
And your fellow Democrats, they dropped it on his desk and began running ads against him, claiming he won't sign it.
I hope that it doesn't get overly politicized. I think this is something that a lot of Republicans and Democrats support. I think it should be signed into law.
Should the governor sign it?
Well, no, and we're advising him not to, just like they're advising him to it. The difference is, in all these gun bills, specifically this one, we have ideas out there to try and help the process move forward, to take guns off the streets, out of the hands of people that shouldn't have them, mentally ill, people that have a criminal background. We have not been invited into the tent. So we have ideas. I have personally produced different pieces of legislation to make some of these bills better, and we basically were told tough.
So how would you take guns out of the hands of the mentally ill?
Illinois has a different type of way to, in essence, do background checks. I, as a FOID card holder, have to go through a background check, even to possess the card, even if I don't want to own a gun. From there, I go through, even if I don't buy a weapon, I go 360 background checks a year. So what happens is the state police will sweep different databases, up to 38 databases, to see if I've been in a mental health
facility. All year long?
All year long. Every year for as long as I have this FOID card, even if I don't buy a gun. If I buy a gun, I have to go through another one. If I get my concealed carry, I have to have another background check. We do things differently. Now, when we did the Concealed Carry Act, we, in essence, made the most stringent mental health reporting in the nation. I was part of that. I helped write that legislation. What we did was we put in a new statute that basically said clear and present danger, where a teacher could report somebody.
All right, Congressman, tell me, if you were king of Illinois, what are the gun rules you'd put in?
Well, look, I think that, for instance, having a 72-hour waiting period for certain semi-automatic weapons makes a lot of sense. Making sure that we ban bump stocks and trigger cranks is another good idea.
Well, that's a bill that got out of the House.
Yes, and it's something that is absolutely necessary because we can't allow people to transform a semi-automatic weapon into a machine gun.
Now, Ed agrees with you on that.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Machine guns have been banned since roughly '86.
And I think, you know, quite frankly, I think some of the measures that we've adopted in Illinois need to become national law because, as you know, in Chicago, for instance, 60% of the weapons that are found on the scene of crimes come from out of state.
Can I tell you something? I don't think that the stuff that has just been talked about here is really going to affect the violence on the street. I think next week, next year, we'll still be having people mowed down on the street. Am I wrong, Congressman?
Well, yes and no. Yes, on the one hand, I mean, at the end of the day, we have to bring real economic development to these areas to make sure that the only livelihood isn't from nefarious means like drug dealing and so forth in some neighborhoods where violence is going to be attendant to that. But on the other hand, I think certain reforms, for instance, with regard to universal background checks in other states, would help prevent from coming here.
One thing, Ed, that we can do to stop the killing on the streets of Chicago, reduce it a lot?
Economic development is the #1 thing, I believe.
You don't think gun policy will affect it?
Well, Leader Durkin has the Safe Neighborhoods Reform Act. That just started in January. Hopefully, and this is penalty enhancements for people on repeat offenders on illegal use of a gun, illegal possession of a gun. Maybe let's see how that works. That could possibly help things.
Guys, we're